Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. We are back here in Immersis where we're going to go ahead and do another one of the Let's Talk About It episodes. We haven't done one of these probably in about 2 months, so I apologize. I know some of y'all like these format videos where we basically take a question from Twitter or Discord and I just kind of talk about it. I don't do a presentation. I just kind of jump in there and I talk. What we normally play for this type of video is Immersis. So I wanted to go ahead and highlight that in the video. Again, haven't done it in a while, so I want to go ahead and jump in here. We're going to start off with the old planet, the original planet. We won't call it the old planet. And see what's new here because I haven't been here in a little while. I've been playing the new planet recently. So let's go ahead and jump in here. The question that we're going to talk about today is, if you're in a project, how do you know it's the right time to get out of the project? Before we really dive too far into that, I want to go ahead and throw the caveat out there that you should stay with a project that you enjoy playing. This video is not to encourage anyone to leave a project that they're currently in. I don't want to do that. So I want you to understand that. But there are times where you're in a project that you once enjoyed or are currently enjoying, and there's some changes that happen that it may be a good time to go ahead and get out of that project before it really drops or dumps, depending on what your approach to play to earn gaming is. I try and stay in games that I enjoy. If another game comes out that I like to play or that I think I would enjoy a little bit more, I go ahead and I shift. There's a lot of times throughout 2022 where I did enjoy a game and then I switched over to another game, whether it was I believe a long-term better game to play, or if it was there's some issues with the existing game that I didn't like. So what we're going to talk about today is a few things to go ahead and check out. The other thing I did want to note that I have a lot of videos on red flags to avoid before you get into a project. Please make sure you look at those too, because sometimes projects change and sometimes they change and those red flags pop up that weren't originally there. So we'll kind of highlight some of those that I'm talking about, and then we'll go ahead and talk about some additional items. There's a whole lot less people here. I think everybody's on the new planet. So we'll keep those in mind. So let's go ahead and talk about it. For example, I again want to throw the caveat out there. If you enjoy playing a game, don't exit it. Even if the value starts dropping, again, this is pure preference, whatever you want to do as far as preference perspective. But if you enjoy a game, support the game, support the team. If it just happens to be a bear market, which gets impacts every single project, don't just run away from the project that you enjoy playing. Hey, you got a level of woodcutting, level 14. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and jump in there. A few examples, and I'm not going to call out any specific projects. But some you'll recognize, some you probably won't recognize. These are just some of the examples of projects that I have left over the last year and the reasons I've kind of left them. First and foremost, if there's a project out there, most of the time when you get into a project and you invest whatever amount you're investing in, time, money, however you want to describe it, you get to know the project team, you get to know the different ins and outs of a project. So one of the key things that can really impact a project and how it continues to move forward is the people in on the project team itself. For example, if you really enjoy a project, the people on the project team are super active, and then all of a sudden there's people that used to be super active on the project team just kind of disappear. And there's only a few people that are left that may not be making the right decisions for the project. It may be time to take a look and see if you want to move on to a different project. And again, I want to throw another caveat out there. One of these reasons should not be enough to really throw you off a project. It's the combination of a number of the red flags that pop up there. So please keep that in mind. So first one is the project team shifts. People from the project team that were essential for its success start to disappear. That is a key red flag as far as something to start looking at, a deeper look into the project, see what's going on there. Because one or two people that were essential for the success of the project leaving the project can have a huge impact on the future of the project. They may be the reason, they may be the balance, they may be that one idea that really got you into the project, and now if they're no longer available, it just might not really work out for the project itself. We've seen that with, you can go back through my videos and I mentioned a certain project where it happens on that really killed the project, where it lost a number of the key people. And then just the people that were still on the project didn't know how to communicate, weren't doing any progress, weren't making right decisions. It's just a red flag to keep an eye out for. Next on the list is if they start charging you for random stuff. Like they either start putting out drops like NFT or pack drops that don't make sense to the project, or they start charging you fees at different times. It may be something that they're either struggling, or there may be some issues with the potential rug pulls. I don't want to say anything specific because each scenario is a little bit different. But just keep an eye out. If they start doing drops that don't make sense, or they start putting out fees or charges that don't make sense, definitely take a deeper look into the project to make sure that it's something that doesn't have any poor means to it. Especially if they're doing pack drops on every week or every few weeks and not putting out any additional features. It doesn't matter how good the project used to be. If they're just trying to charge you for different things and not putting in the effort, it's a red flag as far as something to watch out for in the future. Next on the list is a pretty obvious one, but it's surprising how many projects or players miss out on this one. If the communication stops, if the communication is bad, or it just completely stops, you don't hear from them for weeks, it's a big red flag. That's a big red flag for going into a project, and that's a big red flag for staying into a project. For example, if you're in Discord and the project team is giving you updates on a weekly basis, or they're active and talking throughout the community, and then all of a sudden they disappear for 2-3 weeks, and they don't give you a reason. People get sick, people have issues. It's understandable. It happens all the time. Usually they'll give you a heads up, hey, I haven't been feeling well, or a mod from the team has some sort of update as far as why they're not there. But if they just completely disappear, it's usually not a great sign for the future. So just if that starts happening, again, not saying that you should immediately leave if they don't talk to you for 2 weeks, but just start keeping an eye on all of the other potential concerns that may come out with a project if that starts to happen. Next on the list is just overall, everybody does projects for different reasons. I really push to get into a project because you like playing a game, because it's entertaining, because you enjoy it for really the long term and you like the project teams. A lot of people get in projects for the financial or the ROI, which I don't talk about a lot on this channel, but it is a very real part of play to earns, and I want to make sure that I do kind of address that concern also. ROI, for example, if you suddenly see something that's happening, it could be one reason or another, and the value of the NFTs or the tokens drops considerably, and we're not talking about a bear market. We're talking about a specific event that really alienated the community, and you're in it for true value. It may be time to take a look and see if you want to exit the project. Again, I really hesitated on if I wanted to include that one, but it's a real concern for a lot of people. So I wanted to have that in there. And again, I've said this multiple times, and I'll probably say it a few more times. One item alone shouldn't be a reason to exit a project. If you like the entertainment value of the project, I encourage you to stay in there because you enjoy playing the game. These are all in a combination of reasons that could actually mean that the project's no longer being developed, or something along those lines, or they just stopped caring about a project, which has happened a lot in this bear market. There's been a lot of weeding out of projects of people that aren't 100% committed. If you remember at the beginning of this year or mid-year, there were a lot of people that were putting a project together basically as a side hobby. They were hoping to make a few bucks off of it, but had no plans of doing any additional development, which was, I personally think, a cancer to the community, because they weren't willing to put the time in. They're willing to take that first one or two drops in the paycheck along with it, but they weren't willing to do anything else with the project. So that's why I wanted to bring this video out here, just to keep an eye on things that could impact that, really, as far as the impacting your success rate with the project, because everybody wants to get something out of these projects, whether it's entertainment value or financial value. That is part of the community. That's part of the process. A few other things that you want to keep an eye out for is just implementation, poor implementation on features or other items within the game. There's been some times in the past where you've seen projects put out these features that either just crush your CPU. It hasn't been a big issue recently just because of the less people on the Wax blockchain. But they do that, or they put in a feature that's so poorly designed that instead of creating some sort of value for the project itself, and when I say value, I'm talking about either entertainment value or financial value, some sort of value to the project, and you just see that it's just a poor design. That could mean that it could be a mistake, or it could be that they brought in a new development team that was maybe cheaper for them, but doesn't do a great job with it. Again, these are all just little things that you could see within the play to earn or the Web 3.0 community. And then the last one that I want to include on here, this is more of a your personal opinion type of thing. If there's a lot of games with a specific theme, just because I'm playing Immersis, we'll go ahead and use that. If there's a lot of space-related games or a lot of 3D-related games out there that you will like, at least that the theme that goes along with it, but you also are limited in your budget, or you're playing a certain game and you just happen to jump in a clicker that had a theme that you enjoy, but a new game came out that has, for example, a 3D version that you can run around and gather and fight things. That's an acceptable reason. If it's an entertainment value and you think you'll enjoy a new game, but you don't necessarily not like the old game, it may just be a budgetary reason where you think to yourself, I really like this new game that's a certain theme that I enjoy, and I'd rather put my effort to that because I'm going to enjoy it more in the long term. That's a perfectly good reason to go ahead and jump out of an old game and jump into a new game. There's going to be a lot of games, especially eventually when the bear market goes away, we're going to start seeing a lot of new games coming back in. Fortunately, and in some cases, unfortunately, we're going to get a lot of those clickers that try and get back into the community. But if you see a new game that comes out that you enjoy, that has a theme of something that you're already playing and you think you're going to enjoy it more, why not put your effort towards the game that you think you're going to enjoy more? Put your resources towards that too. I find myself doing that often. There's some new games that have come out recently that I really enjoy, and they just happen to have a similar theme to a game that I was playing previously, but they're just a better game. And that's what we're going to see. You're eventually going to see the really good games start weeding out the mediocre games, we'll say. If a game is unwilling to go ahead and advance away from being a clicker, or away from being just a generic copycat game, it's not going to last in 2023 by the end of it. So these are all, again, just top of my head, answering a question that came up in the community. When do you know when to exit a game? It's okay to do it because you just don't like the game anymore. And it's okay to really watch out for yourself. Watch out for some red flags that I mentioned in this video, and make some adjustments. It's okay to make adjustments to your Web 3.0 portfolio. I do it. I try and be transparent about it. You'll see me talking about new games and not talking about old games. It happens with all of us. So just because I do a video on a game, I've said this before, and I think I was actually running this exact same path the last time I said it. Even though I'm into a game for 6 or 8 months and super high on it, if they make some poor decisions, if some people are no longer on the project team that used to be on the project team, or I just enjoy a new game that's coming out, I'm going to make some adjustments to my portfolio. You got to keep enjoying this. You don't just want to hang on to something that either has a bad future or you just don't enjoy it more. So that's why I put this video together. I hope it's helpful. I know it's a little bit of a random rambling like I used to do. So I hope you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments down below, did I miss any red flags for games that you're in that you could potentially want to get out of? Just things to keep everyone in the community moving forward. That's what we want to do. We want people to enjoy the environment and not really get burned by any bad projects. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you later.